Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
The wise old owl says we all need guidance in our life. So remember, get guided with Guide Us TV.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
And the sound you're hearing in the background is the sound from a distance of red hot lava flowing right out into the Atlantic Ocean. Off the coast of Spain, between Morocco and Spain, there is a volcano erupting right now, and you can see that on your screen. MashaAllah. And yeah, that is a big deal, a very big deal.
Thousands of people have already been evacuated, and people still living in nearby areas have been told to stay indoors and away from those fumes. This is the live pictures we've got right now from the volcano as it continues to erupt. Dramatic stuff. Well, our
This is all
correspondent Becky
live. This is
Cottrell
happening
reports
right
now from
now.
Palma.
It was the moment they'd been nervously waiting for. Would the lava make it to the sea? It did, cascading over a cliff edge into the Atlantic Ocean.
Look
And
how
it kept
far
coming.
that
These molten streams still vicious, even after they'd left the land.
unbelievable.
The
Unbelievable.
steam and gas is created by a thermal shock when the lava, which is over 1,000 degrees Celsius, hits the sea, which is just over 20 degrees Celsius. It releases hydrochloric acid, which is dangerous if you breathe it in or if it gets in your eyes. We are at a safe distance here, but the people in the towns near the shore have been told to stay inside.
That includes this area, Tazacorte. But they're carrying on as normal, the new normal. Like most, they're used to wearing masks by now. They aren't overly worried here. The direction of the wind means the gas from the sea.
Anyway, this is what we're going to be talking about tonight, but we're going to approach it from the angle of Islam. What does Islam tell us about volcanoes and earthquakes and lightning striking people? And animals going extinct. Let's find out about more of this right here. And to help us discuss it, we have 2 of my special guests. First, I'll introduce, actually, I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I'll just bring James right out here if I can. Let's see if I can put him up here. Yeah, there we go. Now, Okay, James, salam alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. It looks like it's going to be an interesting topic tonight. I'd like to know more and understand more of what the Quran says or Islam says about these things.
Yeah, well, we can guess that it's going to be interesting tonight. So if you want to, guys, this is a good time to share it. Share this, and and by the way, if you would like to see some of the stuff that we've got it playing on our website, on our page, on Facebook, and also on Twitter. So if you'd like to watch it there. Now let's introduce our next guest, who needs really no introduction at all. Sister Kim. Salam alaikum, sister. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah. Doing very well. Thank you.
MashaAllah. Have you prepared anything to talk about volcanoes, earthquakes, and extinct animals?
Oh, sure. You can pretty much, I've got a degree in environmental technology, so you can pretty much throw it at me. I've been watching this eruption with a lot of interest. It's been going on for a little over a week now, and the name of the volcano is Cumbre Vieja. Do you happen to know what that means in Spanish?
Tell us.
I don't know. I don't speak Spanish.
Well, I didn't even know it had a name. I guess that they give everything a name, don't they? There's not
pretty much.
Yeah, anything that can kill you, they name it. Like COVID virus.
This has been a very interesting eruption because as far as volcanoes go, this one so far is not very dangerous. They had plenty of warning that it was going to erupt, and they were able to evacuate people ahead of time. It has damaged several buildings. I think it's damaged about 100 buildings right now, and it took down a church. The big concern was when the lava eventually reached the sea, which it took several days for that to happen. As we heard the speaker from the newscast saying, when the lava reaches the sea, it releases hydrochloric acid, but it also releases microparticles of glass. And those can become suspended in the air, and of course that would be deadly debris. So that's something that they're watching very carefully, is how the lava is reacting with the ocean and whether or not they have to do more evacuations based on the wind shear and everything like that.
Yeah, this is really something different for me to look at this happening. Just amazing. The amazing part about all of this is that you can go right on YouTube and choose what kind of pictures that you would like to. Because different cameras of different television companies and individuals have got all their stuff out there set up, and you can get different perspectives on this. Like here's one right here.
Like I said, this volcano is not considered to be a very dangerous one. So, they can set it up at a distance, and they're not really concerned about the volcano blowing up or anything like that. It's just going to be a steady release of lava. And the last time this volcano erupted, it lasted for a month. So it's probably going to be going for quite a while.
Yeah, I think it is. I keep hearing that sound in the background, and I'm really amazed at this, the whole thing. Let's go back to Habib. Salam alaikum, Habib.
Alaikum assalam. I'm watching this on what you're showing, and it's quite amazing of this volcano and what it's doing, especially when it's hitting the water. It's I don't know if you use the word spectacular, but at least there's no lives lost because of this. But I can understand the concern about the glass particles, especially if people would breathe this in, because it can cause a lot of damage to a person's lungs.
There's no doubt about that. I'm watching it too. A lot of times I just see fire. I don't know what I'm really looking at. Do you? Maybe Sister knows. What are?
The shot that's up on my screen right now is the main vent of the volcano, and that's where you see the plumes coming up and becoming airborne and then running down the side. From what I've seen of the videos, it looks like there's one main vent. You know, like I said, it's been very steady. So this is a easily measurable volcano. Not to say it isn't a dangerous volcano, all volcanoes are dangerous. But when it comes to lives and property, at least people have warning.
Yeah, I think that's... Let me see what we can... Oh, wow. Here we go again. Yeah, I can see it better now. Well, you know what? I have to change my glasses so I can see better. Oh, yeah. By the way, I really don't need glasses, guys, except to see. I don't really need glasses, so, all right. La Paloma volcano eruption, the Canary Islands is what it's saying here. A lot of people are putting up, it said huge earthquake swarm on Hawaii. Yeah, by the way, do you know that they have a big earthquake right now in Hawaii? Did you know anything about that?
No, I didn't know about that, but that's always interesting because a large earthquake can be a precursor to a volcano eruption. That's how I know a volcano is going to erupt, is they'll have swarms of earthquakes.
Actually, in this case, they said that there were earthquakes that set this one off. Earthquakes very frequently send off the ones in Hawaii. But this is something to think about. Something to think about. For over, I think, 6,000 years or something like that, this volcano has not been active. Is that right?
This one erupted in 1951.
Okay. The one that I was reading about had not gone off. Oh, I know. Let's switch over. Let's see if we can pick up the ones that are going. And there's earthquakes in another part of the world right now, and I'm trying to find that. Yeah, I'm seeing Hawaii right now, and the Canary Islands is the one that's taking over everything. This is the one that's taken over almost everything on the. But there is a very serious volcano that is going off. Yeah, here it is. Let me put this one up so everybody can see this one. Yeah. There's not much going on with it. It's not. This is a live feed, and it's coming to us all the way from Iceland. Did you know that there was a big one going off in Iceland right now?
Oh yes, that one is very interesting because, you know, when most people think of volcanoes, they think of a big mountain. And the one in Iceland is pretty much on a plain, and there's a crack in the ground, and that's where the lava's been coming from.
Yeah, it says the Iceland volcano eruption is a live feed from the eruption site, and they called it the Gelding Dalir volcano located in Fagradesival. Yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce all these words. If you want to know how to say it, get a dictionary. Anyway, the glow and occasional lava fountains from this volcano are seen from the outskirts of a city. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Iceland's capital,
Reykjavik.
Huh?
Reykjavik.
Reykjavik? Okay. Reykjavik. All right. North of the eruption, the ever-growing lava fields have been officially named, I'm not going to try that, by the Icelanders of a nearby town. Let's see, this is the one. Okay. This is the one that it says it has been dormant for almost 6,000 years. Dormant for 6,000 years. The eruption of this volcano started on March 19th with two fissures, nicknamed Bobbed by the internet community. It is the first active volcano in the area in about 800 years. This particular one hasn't gone off for 6,000 years, but just to mention that there has been no other volcano in the area at all going off for over 800 years. And the second one is called Flow, and on April the 5th, that one started kicking up. Then four more fissures started up. Sif, that was April 7th. Olaf, which is April 10th. And on April 13th, Hel, Rag, and Nar. Hel and Nar. Guys, I don't know if you get what I'm looking at. It says Hel, Hel, and Nar, Nar. So, yeah, and the Nar is the one that is really kicking up right now. It says all of them have stopped erupting except Nar. And now Nar has grown considerably in size, and the discharge rate is now dominating the volcanic landscape, with periodic geyser-like eruptions dazzling the onlookers with lava fountains. Some of these lava fountains have reached over 300 meters. That's over 1,000 feet in height. And I don't know if you thought about this, but the average house, the ceiling is anywhere from 8 to a maximum 10 feet. So this is over 1,000 feet in height. It says the attempts by the civil engineers to redirect the lava flow away from vital highway, including the internet and power line services and massive earth dams, has failed. Now, what are they going to do? If they lose their highways, they lose their internet, they lose the electricity, yeah, and they're going to be in trouble over there. So it says the lava has already breached the dams and is now flowing unabated into the valley and toward the highway and the ocean, only 2 kilometers away. And a kilometer is not even a mile. Yeah. So the Icelandic volcano eruption feed that we're watching right now is from ruv.s and visir.is, and these are Icelandic, there you go, meteorological office. So I just want to mention that this is their rights, and I want to mention it, give them a little So we say thanks, and special thanks to the crews for these organizations for their tireless efforts, and we ask Allah to guide them to what is best for them. And well, you know what that is. We want everybody to know about Islam. But anyway, so make dua for all of the people to be guided. And this is really something. If you look at this, I've been watching it. It got real red a few minutes ago. But one of the points that I would like to make about all of this is that our Prophet ﷺ warned us to be, watch for these different signs. And one of the signs that he mentioned is that earthquakes will be coming stronger and stronger and more frequent. I did a short little thing about August, just over 12 years ago about this same subject. And at that time I thought there were a lot of earthquakes, but I was just reading on here that there were over 1,000 earthquakes in the last 24 hours, major earthquakes that were causing these eruptions that we've been watching right now, over 1,000. And I was thinking, okay, well, this is a good chance for us to learn a little something about our deen. And the sound you're hearing in the background is not airplanes. This is the sound that you're hearing from right here from these volcanoes. I'm going to switch back over to the other one that is going on right now. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, here it is. This is the one that's in off the coast of Spain in the Canary Islands. How serious is this? Okay, I'm not there. I'm in California, and all we're experiencing is a lot of fires out here. But if you consider that from all the way from Iceland, and then in Hawaii, and then in Spain, and these earthquakes, you don't see anything coming. An earthquake just, boom, drops everything. And since I've been out here in California, we've had one major earthquake while we were in Salat of Maghrib, and while we were praying, boom! It sounded like a truck hit the building, and the whole building jumped up and down. But we kept praying, and the imam just kept on going. So I just stayed in line. Some people broke out of the line, but most of them stayed in the line. And that was about a little over 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, it was kind of scary to me. So this is another sign, though, because I want to talk about what happened about 2,000 years ago. And we're going to do that right after we take a short break. I'm just going to give a short little break here. We'll be right back right after this. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Stay guided with Guidus TV.
Guidus TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guidus TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guidus TV.
Stay guided with Guidus TV. Guidus TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guidus TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guidus TV.
Stay guided with Guidus TV. Guidus TV, first.
All right, and we are back. I've got something to show you. Let me see if I can put this up. that you'll be able to see it. Yeah, here we go. You're hearing it pop? That's the volcano. That's scary. To me, that is scary. I don't know. All right. What I want to show you guys, take a look at this. These are images. This is not live now. These are images that we have here in our studio. But this was taken real recently from that same one that we're watching now. All right. Now, got another one here. Now that is a flame on there. That's a flame, but it really looks like a man standing there made out of fire. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what the reason I wanted this one is because it really looked to me like that was a man standing there made out of fire, like a devil sort of. I don't know if you can see it. Trying to make it bigger for you. Okay, now I want to show you something. Of the people of Pompeii. Now, let's find out if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Let me see if we can cut down that sound in the background a little bit. Whoa. There, I got it back. Alhamdulillah. So you can see it, but it's not so overwhelming now. Let me see what we can do to pick up this. We have a browser picture here. All right. I want to tell you a little story, okay? About 2,000 years ago, in AD 74, just a few years after the Great Fire that almost destroyed the city there in Rome. They said that Caesar, was it, who was
Nero.
it? Nero, yeah. Nero fiddled while Rome burned. You know, that expression. But actually, he was not fiddling around. There was, at that time, there were two political parties fighting against each other. Yeah, as strange as that sounds today, you know, because we don't have any political parties fighting against each other, right? Anyway, so they were trying, each one was trying to blame the other one for this fire starting, and they settled on finally that the Christians did it, and that is why they wanted to go up and destroy all the Christians. Now that happened in 69 AD, and by 74 AD they had destroyed a lot of the Christians. They thought they got rid of them, but of course they didn't. And in 79 AD, the Universal Church of Rome had, as their tradition, on August, I think it was August 23rd, the 23rd day of August in 74 AD, they had a celebration of the Vulcanite or something like that they called it, and that was where our word volcano comes from. And he was the god of fire, and there were certain, on that day there were certain flickers of pieces of rock, fire rock, coming down on the people a little bit, you know, and they were celebrating, and they said, oh, look, the God is happy with us. The next day is the famous day when the volcano erupted, and actually was so fast, it was moving down at about 30 miles an hour, moving down 30 miles an hour, and when it hit the people, it encased them completely, and there was nothing that they could do about it. They were totally encased. Let me see if we can show you what they looked like. Here we go. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to show you right here. I don't know if I can do this or not. I should have practiced with this before we went live, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Yeah, here you go. This is how these people were laid out. They moved them over here to this place and set it out. But these people were all encased, and you can see their bodies. And I even saw one that you could see his teeth. And this is from 2,000 years ago. Let me see if I can show you another one.
One thing that a lot of people think is they think those are the actual bodies of the people of Pompeii. What it is the ash flow came down so fast that it buried the people and incinerated the bodies, but it left a cavity in the ash where the body had been. And so what they did was they filled those cavities with plaster and then scraped the ash away, and that's how they got these perfect casts of the people.
Exactly. You know, my daughter was telling me about this same thing, and she said that she wasn't sure it was plaster, but I couldn't think of anything else it would have been. Anyway, yeah, that's this is what I was going to show you guys. Look at this man. This man, it was sitting like this, and when that flame hit him, he didn't even have time to die. He was like, ah, and then it swept over them, and it froze them right where they were. I don't know if you could say the word freeze, froze. No, because that was the opposite of freezing, right?
Yeah, it was the term for what hit Pompeii and in a lesser extent Herculaneum was called a pyroclastic flow. And the pyroclastic flow is superheated rock, not to the point of lava, but rock and ash that comes down the side of the mountain like a landslide. And it just wipes out you. There's a horse can't outrun it. It comes so fast, there's no getting away from it. And that's what swept over Pompeii. And they're still discovering things in Pompeii to this day that have been perfectly preserved by this ash flow. As a matter of fact, they just found a fast food restaurant.
Wait a minute. What did you say?
They found what they're calling a fast food restaurant. It was a...
Wait a minute. Don't tell me it was a franchise and they have little cardboard crowns that they put on?
Well, what it was a counter, and it was all inlaid with tile and everything like that. And it was a market stall where they sold food. And they said, this is the type of place, just like we go for fast food today. They'd go and get, kebabs or lamb or whatever this place was selling. And it was just a very quick place to grab a bite to eat.
Do you think there's any connection between what happened, these people, the Universal Church of Rome, and the festivities and celebration that they had on the 23rd of August, and then the next day they had another celebration when when this thing hit. Let me put it up again so that you can see that when it hit, these people were celebrating Augustus Caesar's birthday, because this is the month of August, and that was named for him. And he'd already been dead, but they were celebrating his birthday. They had a god in their church, the Universal Church of Rome. It was in business at that time. Now, why I wanted to stress this, and this is my whole point tonight, and if you want to call in and argue with us, fine, go ahead, because this is a known fact. The Universal Church of Rome was celebrating Augustus Caesar's birthday, and they got this whole entire volcanic mountain comes down, boom, and freezes the people right where they were. And these people were celebrating their fire god the day before. And that is as mushrik as you can get, to celebrate one. And then Augustus was considered like a god to them. Caesar was a god. All right? So if you think about it, can you see a connection here between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala putting something like this on the people? And
it would be very interesting to see what the Arabs of the time would have thought of it, because we know that they traded with them extensively, so they were probably very familiar with Pompeii. And so for them to come, and when Pompeii erupted, they actually may have even heard it, at least on the north coast of Saudi Arabia. That's how loud it was. And so, they maybe even had indication that this has happened. And so it would be very interesting to see what the Arabs had to say when they showed up and found the town buried.
Yeah, this is really something that we're seeing right now. This is not artwork here, guys. You're looking at the real thing. This is the one in Spain now. And we've seen the one going off right now in Iceland. We've seen the one going off in Spain. And we've heard about the earthquakes. We've heard about the big earthquake out there in Hawaii right now, and probably they're going to have a volcano out there erupting. They're telling us that's a possibility. And are we at the least bit concerned? Are we going to stop what we're doing and stop false worship and really give the worship to the God above? Because that's the real question. Oh, by the way, I'm going to ask Habib about this. Let me see if I can put him back up. Habib, salam alaikum.
Actually, what I was thinking when you were showing this is a lot of people got the attitude, oh, this happened before, it's happening now, it will happen again. But they're not realizing that we need to turn to our Creator and realize the importance of worshiping Him. We got to get away from worshiping these idols that are not going to help us.
Well, I had something that I wanted to ask you, because what we were doing, showing the Universal Church of Rome, the Romans admired the Greeks. Even though they had oppressed them, they had gone in and beat them with their army. The Romans were vicious. But they appreciated the learning centers of the Greeks, and they actually had them teaching their youth. Yeah. And one of the things that they did was to accept the Greeks' gods along with their gods. And they accept the name of the church from the Greeks. The Universal Church of Rome was named in Greek. Do you know how to say universal in Greek?
Universal, wouldn't that be Catholic?
Yep, that is the Catholic Church. That same church that we're talking about now, when it took over a sect of Christianity 300 years later, 300 years later, taking over a sect of Christianity, and they didn't even change the name. It's still called the Universal Church of Rome until this day.
This is true.
Have you ever known anybody that was Catholic?
Did I ever? I was Catholic.
I set that up.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you're Catholic, you know a lot of people that's Catholic.
Of course. But
Yeah.
how many of them know that the church was actually a pagan church, and it still has the name of the pagan church, and they still want to worship a man instead of the God that the man told them to worship?
I don't think a lot of them are aware of that, but then again, when you look at Christopher Columbus, they're not aware of the bad that he's done either. So sometimes people are blinded to things.
Well, you know what? I was reading a lot of stuff about Christopher Columbus, and the fact that he took the name Christopher. Yeah, Christopher and Columbus, because these are two names that would be very appealing to the king of England at that time, the king of, Spain.
Spain, yes.
Yeah, and but it didn't work on him, so he appealed to Isabella. I think her name was Isabella, and she
Yes.
gave him 3 ships. And those ships were Muslim ships. And they had to have a Muslim captain on it, and there was a Jewish first mate, and all of them could read the charts because they were all in Arabic. And by the way, whenever you're going to go to a place that nobody's ever been before, how do you have maps to it?
This is a good question.
Because they had maps. They had the maps. So, and you can see these maps on maybe 200 years before Christopher Columbus sailed over there, and he never actually put his foot even in Florida. He never touched any part of the United States, but he was on those islands, and he did turn a lot of those people into slaves, and he forced them, he would cut off their body parts and stuff, and he would even kill them. And then his whole thing was to force them to come up with gold so that he could take it back over to Queen Isabella and show them, look, hey, I'm getting gold, the streets are paved with gold, all these stories. But these stories, really horrible stories that they had, and right after him, that within a couple decades, there was others who came into Central America, South America, and invaded and took everything that they could get their hands on and killed people all along the way. But what we read in the textbooks today is these heroes, these mighty men of old, and I'm sorry to say that this doesn't stack up very nicely. And especially that they tried to insult the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his big thing was to insist on endorsing all of these prophets and make sure that people adhered to what these prophets had told them, not the peripheral people who come up later and write books, and we didn't even know who their names were. They named the books Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, but the synoptic gospels were not actually written by anybody that they knew the name of, but they theorized based on this. Luke must have been a doctor, and we're going to call it Luke because this is the doctor's name, and blah blah blah. So that's how they come up with the names. And still, there are things that are preserved in the Bible that tell people exactly what Jesus, peace be upon him, had said, and then it's translated from one language to another, to another, to another, but it's still the essence of telling people, pray to God. Your comments?
Well, when you look at the Old Testament and the New Testament, that's what from the beginning, even, it was always pray to the one God, and so I don't understand, and maybe because of what happened in the Council of Nicaea, that's where all this stuff came to be about the Trinity and all this here stuff. Because when you look at the teachings of Jesus, when you look at the teachings of the other prophets, peace be upon them, it was always to worship the one God, even Moses.
The idea that we're seeing right now, these volcanoes going off, this should be an indication to somebody. They should wake up and say, hey, wait a minute, hold on, maybe there is something going on here. Volcanoes, earthquakes, and this was all predicted. Now, what about another thing? Do you know that there's a hadith, a very long hadith, that actually has a number of things predicted in it? It says that a person will have, his hand will talk to him. His hand will talk to him. People will talk to their hand. That's what it says. And his waist or her purse, something around the area that you would carry there, will tell you what's going on in your house even though you are away. 1,400 years ago. What do you think about that? Have you heard about this?
No, but this doesn't surprise me, because if you realize, well, you know where the Quran comes from. So the one that would know this would be our Creator. Therefore, it's understandable that these things are in the Quran.
Yep. And there is another thing too. This same hadith tells us you'll be trying to communicate with the animals of the sea. Now, fish, technically a fish is an animal. But the word for fish in Arabic is samak. That's very clear but it doesn't say samak. It says animal. Animals of the sea. Now, if you're talking about animals of the sea, there is an animal that's not a fish in the sea that people are trying to communicate with, called a dolphin. Is that right?
Yes.
So he already told us about that 1,400 years ago. I don't know if you really think about it. Now, here's something that Jesus said. I'm going to see if I can pull this up for you too. Yeah, here it is. I don't know how effective it's going to be because I'm not sure that this is, it's not going to look that impressive, but I'll put it up anyway. This is a child's or a young person's efforts to write the Quran approximately at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They're dating it somewhere between before the Prophet ﷺ was born, so we know that that wasn't it, but up until about 30 years after he passed away, somewhere in that area. So this child wrote this, and then their teacher corrected it. This is what the child wrote, and then this, let me see if I can pull this up. I have not tried to do anything with this, but let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can, yeah, here you go. Take a look at this. The teacher, the vellum or the material that they wrote on was quite valuable, and they didn't want to lose the opportunity to write on something, so they would always like brush it off or wipe it off. And I have some of the ones that they even used up until 20 years ago in Africa, some of the countries in Africa, and it had Quran on it, and it was a page like this is, and you can see that they wiped it off, ready to do something else with it, but you can still see the letters on it. Now, this one is in Surah Baqarah. This is a part of Surah Baqarah around 188 to 197 or 8, something like that. The ayah numbers, the verse numbers. So you can see this, and you'll notice that there's no dots on here. There's no tashkil marks because they had not yet invented them. So there are a number of letters in the Arabic language that if you don't know Arabic, you would never be able to read this because they're identical in their appearance, even the way they connect, because the people didn't really need to know how to read or write because they had good ears to listen, and they had good style of memorization, and so people could memorize stuff real easy. And if you could just see a few letters, you'd be like, okay, I got it. So that is why they never had anything like diacritical marks or anything in the Arabic language. Now, just before anybody gets their wild idea, oh yeah, look at how backward they were. Hold on a second. The same is true of the Hebrew language. The Hebrew language, or Eber, did not gain any of that until after, about 200 years after the Muslims started doing it with Arabic. After they did it, 200 years later, you find that the scribes for the Bible start doing the same thing, making dots so that they could differentiate between, for instance, the sin and the sheen in Arabic are like the sin and the sheen in the Hebrew, except that in Hebrew they stick up like this. Let me see. I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to put my two fingers closer together, and depending on where you put the dot over here or put the dot over here, it will change it from a sin to a sheen. In the Arabic language, it's kind of like, it doesn't go up any more than this. Like, you see the, okay, there's 3. Okay, and so without anything, it's a sin, and with 3 dots above the 3 there, I'm trying to see, but yeah. Anyway, so that would be a sheen. I'll give you this sample page again. This was discovered only in the last 100 or so years. Yeah. And it's really amazing. And it also clarifies something where people are saying, oh, you can kill people and stuff in Islam. It doesn't say that. You can read this very carefully if you'd like to. Take a screenshot of it if you want to. But yeah, the way it says it is, if they kill you, you can be killing them, but you have to stop. You cannot transgress. You cannot go more than what they did to you. Yeah, so even if they're fighting you, if they stop, you have to stop. It says that real clear. And I don't know if you know this, but you might be interested to know that at the time, and if you read Shakespeare, you can read some of the Shakespeare plays. They had the custom, even in Europe and different parts of the world, that when the leaders would like to communicate with them, they could actually go and have a meeting and talk with each other and then go back and then start fighting again. And yeah, and it says it in the Quran in chapter 9, verse 6, and it says, if they come to learn, if they come to you seeking your protection, that's not, I'm going to back up. If they come to you seeking your protection, then protect them. And then tell them about Islam, tell them about the messenger, etc. And then give them safe passage back to wherever they came from. Whether they accept Islam or not, whatever they do, whatever they say or do, or they can, whatever. You have to give them safe passage back to where they came from. And you don't see that anymore anywhere. You don't. They're leaders of countries. Once they declare war, they're not going to talk to anybody. They're going to go all out. And no matter how many lives it costs, as long as it doesn't cost them their life or any of their family. Yeah, right.
Well, I always felt that these leaders that want to have wars with other countries, they should go fight the war.
I think that you have a very good point on that one. Very good point.
Because you look at how many lives are lost in all these wars. And if these leaders actually went to fight with these other leaders, I think they would be more willing to talk about peace than to fight. But when your life is not at stake, I don't think you really care.
Well, I don't know about people's intentions or their feelings. I don't. But I would like to say this, that whenever someone is declaring war, that's the ultimate last thing. Why? Is there no other way that we could settle these things? But when you keep in mind how much money that these people can make on their weapons of mass destruction, on their airplanes, on their tanks, on their just reloading the weapons and the uniforms and all of the things that go along with that. And they get to pay these guys lower than minimum wage, make them sleep out in the dirt or in cots in a big room like a prison, worse than a prison in some cases, because I've been in some pretty nice prisons myself.
I don't know why Yusha has a call, but we gotta go.
Why?
6:59.
My clock says, look.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It is 6:59? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Everybody, stay tuned and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Oh, yeah.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Stay guided with Guide Us TV.
This is Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.